Today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to make a coconut cream pound cake. It's a little more decadent than things I usually make, but you can't stop living. You have to enjoy some things, and at the very least this is going to be homemade, so you will know exactly what is in it because you're going to put it there yourself. And what I mean by that is it's not going to have any additives, preservatives, stabilizers, emulsifiers, whatever else all those other things are you see on the ingredient list that you're not exactly sure what they are. So at least it's not going to be probably as unhealthy as something it would be that you would buy at the store that's been pre-made. This is 1.5 cups of butter, which is obviously 3 sticks. I'm going to briefly cream this by beating it with the mixer before I add the next ingredient. By the way, this is softened at room temperature, which is maybe around 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Just a real quick creaming of the butter there. Now to this I'm going to add 3 cups of sugar, which I've got right here, and I'm going to add just a little bit at a time and then cream it to make sure that it's fully incorporated into the mixture here. After you add each section of sugar, beat the mixture for approximately 1 minute to ensure that it's fully incorporated into the butter. Every few minutes, be sure you take a spatula and scrape down the sides of the bowl. And the bottom of the bowl as well, to make sure everything is properly and thoroughly mixed together. After you add the last of the sugar, continue to mix it for at least 3 to 4 minutes, and it'll look something like this. Once you have it to this stage, I'm going to add now 5 eggs, one at a time. Do not put them all in together. Add them one at a time. After you add each one, thoroughly mix it in before you add the next one. A good way to do that is to crack an egg, each egg into a bowl. That way you can be sure that there's no shell bits or anything else you might not want in there. And once it looks right, add it to the mixture and mix thoroughly. Don't forget, be sure to scrape the sides down every 2 or 3 minutes to make sure that everything is getting mixed in properly. And once you've added all 5 of the eggs and it's been mixed thoroughly, add one half of a teaspoon of salt. Also add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And once again, mix it thoroughly. Now I'll add the last 2 ingredients. Just 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and 1 1/4 cups of coconut milk. What you might want to do once you open a can of coconut milk is take a table knife and just mix it up while it's in the can to make sure you have a good even mixture consistency. Now if you wanted to, it's probably not a bad idea, you could also add 1 or 2 tablespoons of coconut extract to this. I didn't because I forgot to buy it. But it will, if you add 1 or 2 teaspoons. 1 or 2 teaspoons of coconut extract, that'll boost the coconut flavor and make it really nice and coconut flavored. But since I forgot to buy the coconut extract, I went ahead and used the vanilla. It'll turn out really nice. It's just that the coconut flavor will be a little bit less intense. Anyways, I'm going to alternately add the flour and the coconut milk a little at a time. Start with the flour, add approximately 1 cup, and mix it in thoroughly. Don't forget to scrape down the sides periodically. And then add approximately 1/3 of the coconut milk mixture and mix that in thoroughly. Then add the flour, and then the coconut, and then the last of the flour and the last of the coconut. And once you add the last ingredient, mix it again for at least 2 or 3 minutes to make sure everything is thoroughly mixed together and fully incorporated. Once all the ingredients are mixed and fully incorporated, and you've mixed it for several minutes afterwards to make sure it's thoroughly mixed and the sides are all scraped down, it should look something similar to this. At this point, you need to be certain that your oven has been turned on and it is heated up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. This is enough to fill about 2 loaf pans. These are 9x5 loaf pans, which means about 9 inches by 5 inches. And what I'm going to do is spray these to make sure that the pound cakes don't stick. Alternately, you can put a thin layer of butter and then put some flour on them. I'm a little lazy right now, but I'm just going to go ahead and spray these instead. I usually try to pay particular attention to the corners to make sure you get spray in those corners. I've also taken some parchment paper and I've cut a couple of pieces that will fit. It will fit into the bottom of these pans, just as an extra measure of protection to make sure that they've come out of the pan as cleanly as possible. So I'm going to go ahead, set that in the bottom, and also put a little bit of spray right on top. Same thing on the other pan. And then just evenly divide the mixture between the 2 pans. Whenever I'm baking like this, I usually try to make sure that the center is a little bit lower than the sides. It's not absolutely vital, because when it's done, the center is going to end up being higher than the sides. But that's why I do it this way, trying to get it to come out as evenly as possible. It may not matter, but I do it that way anyways. These will now go into the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 50 to 60 minutes, or until a toothpick comes out clean once it's inserted in the center. And you'll see it next at that point. There we go, I just brought them out of the oven. They've already started to fall a little bit. Nice and clean, so they're definitely done. Put them on a rack of some type like this, or something to get so that air can circulate underneath them and around them, so they cool down a lot quicker. And leave them like this in the pan, for about an hour, I'd say. Once they've cooled down pretty well, you can go ahead and remove them from the pan and put them on the rack to let them cool down completely. Well, it's been right at an hour, and these are cool to the touch. Maybe just a little tiny bit warm, but you can easily touch it without any problem. So what I did, I used a table knife and carefully went around the edges all the way down. This new pan here, this is a new pan I just got. It worked out pretty well. The cake comes out pretty easy. This older one I've had for quite a few years. It's a little worn, a little scratched. It took a little work going around the edge all the way, trying to get it to come loose without destroying it too much. But I got it. This one, like I say, the new one came out pretty easy. I'll show you the old pan here first. That's normal. They tend to fall like that, but you can see the edges. With an older pan, I kind of expected that it would stick a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. I'm going to go ahead and just leave it here on the rack to cool down. It's a little fragile. You can see a little bit of sticking in the pan, nothing major, but you can see where that parchment sheet really helped that bottom to just come right out of there. I should have sprayed the sides better or put a little butter and flour on them, but anyways, it worked out fine. Actually, to some people, these little crispy pieces are like gold. They're really tasty and delicious. This is a new pan I just got, and it worked out very nice. It's still pretty warm on the bottom, not bad. I'm going to go ahead and leave this parchment paper on it, like I say. I'm going to let them cool for a couple hours. There's the pan, it just came out beautiful. I'll let these cool for a couple of hours before well, you could slice it now, but I'm going to go ahead and let it cool. What you can do if you don't want to use them right away, once they cool down completely, give it at least a couple hours or so. Wrap it carefully and tightly in a couple of layers of plastic wrap. Make it sure it's thoroughly wrapped. Put it in the refrigerator for at least 24 hours, and what will happen is the moisture level will equalize and the edges will become a little softer. So it will be evenly consistent all the way through. And once you put it in the refrigerator for 24 hours, wrapped, then I would put it into a heavy-duty plastic zip type of a bag and put it in the freezer. Squeeze all the air out you can, suck the air out if you can, and put it in the freezer. And it will last for many, many months if you want to do it that way. Well, it's been more than 24 hours now, and I just took this out of the fridge a little while ago to make some shortcake. Strawberry shortcake to be exact. Although I'm going to do a little mix-up on it though. I'm going to do strawberry with pineapple shortcake. Before I slice this though, I'm going to make some homemade whipped cream real fast. Just regular whipped cream. I made it to the store finally, and I bought some coconut extract, imitation coconut extract. Yeah, just a little touch. And instead of sugar, I'm going to add some of this stevia sweetener stuff. And the easiest way to make that is in a cup, specifically like this, that came with the stick blender. And you blend. And you can see it's gotten quite thick very quick. So I'll let this sit here for a minute or two while I put together the coconut pound cake for the strawberry and pineapple shortcake. Hang on, it's coming up real fast now. But as you can see, it turned out quite nice. It's a little crumbly, but that's I think that's a good quality to have for a piece of cake like this. First, a little bit of the juice from the strawberries. A little bit of the homemade whipped cream there. And of course some of the pineapple. And a little more of the fresh homemade whipped cream on top. But just like that, it's really easy to make your own homemade pound cake. I made this a coconut pound cake. And make your own homemade whipped cream. Make your own homemade shortcake here, strawberry pineapple shortcake. Like I said earlier, I generally try to add some healthier aspects to things that I cook. I don't always, but I try to for the most part. And this one is not really going to be considered healthy at all. But what I think is important in it is that you make it all yourself, so you know what's in there. You don't have to worry about some of the ingredients on the list that you don't know what they are, you may not be able to pronounce them. You make it all yourself, so you make a Cook and Gobble good. So anyway, be sure to keep your grill hot, your beer cold, and your fork handy, and we'll see you next time on Cook and Gobble videos.